What's up, guys? How you doing today? I'm running a little late to the camera. I had to get some coffee going. We got good audio, good video. Can everyone see me okay and hear me all right? I know I'm going to spill this. It's going to happen. That was probably absolutely disgusting to those of you who don't like slurping sounds. Can I get a mic check? Just need one person to let me know they can hear the audio okay. That way I don't gotta... Here, I'll monitor it. Okay. We're good. We're good. I can hear it. Mr. Exquisite coffee. Yes. Good old American treat. Coffee. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day out there today. Let me give some quick hellos. Big shout out to Money from Mars. First one in the house. Good to see you again. Second time I've seen you since the last one. I saw you over at Shane's channel just a little bit ago. I appreciate you tuning into that one as well. We're going to be talking about the shoot that we did with him. Once the show gets going, I want to make sure he gets, some people checking him out. His channel's obviously bigger than mine, but, help those who help each other. We got, who else we got here? Simply Dana, part of the early squad again as well. Hello to you too. Rhiannon, good to see you. We still got to get on one of those video calls here soon. We got to get some listing done together. Fat Girl Selling, good to have you. Yeah, good to have you. Zyda, thank you for dropping on in. Hope you're doing well. I enjoyed our talk earlier too. It was a good talk, getting you all ready for what you got going on. Red River Group, pleasure to have you as well. Thanks for being here. Mr. Exquisite, you might enjoy this show more than most. And a quick question for you. Did you check out that movie I sent you? What was it called? Like Big China Hustle or something like that. I can't even remember the name of it. But a really good movie. I spent a lot of time playing catch up on listings today. I would tell you what movie I'm going to watch tonight after this is over, but I know there's somebody out there that would get too much joy spoiling it for me. But there's a movie I've been waiting, maybe like 6 months to watch, and I'm going to watch it after the show's over today. Who do we got over here in group chat? Who was the last guy? The 10K on the Bay guy. That was Christopher Lynn, aka Daily Refinement. If you're watching. Red River Group, ASMR. Yeah, I was listening to some of that synthy, go to sleep stuff last night. It wasn't working for me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The movie is on the list. I know how that list is. Donna Lockwood, pleasure to see you as always. Hope you're doing well out there. I heard Fresno is doing really bad with staying at home. My buddy went over to Woodward Park today, and he told me that even though the park is closed, the Fort Washington parking lot is completely full of cars, and people are just walking across. Hey, if somebody would love to help out and post into the Bolorama group, I completely forgot to post that we're going live. That's probably why nobody's here right now, but I know you guys will catch the replay if you missed it. And we got a lot to cover. I didn't get a chance to finish reviewing my notes, guys, so the tail part of the show might be a little bit choppy, but I hope you guys bear with me. No notification. Uh-oh. Notification squad ain't working right now. Hello to you, Rachel. Pleasure as always to see you. I don't know why my notifications are coming in so late over here. Well, if we have to, let's here, we'll run a really quick thing on Facebook. I'll do it really quick. Let me just grab a URL, share, copy. Bolorama. If you guys haven't joined yet, facebook.com/groups/Bolorama, you can join in on the discussion and be a part of what we got going on. It's pretty neat. Come join us. We are live. Yeah, it's generally every Sunday. Obviously, we've taken a little bit of time off as of recently. Yeah, things are slowing down a little bit in the world of e-com right now. Okay, we got that posted. Are you guys ready to rock and roll? You guys ready to do this? Let's go ahead and get this party started. What What is going on, guys? This is Jay Kraft with the Facebook group Bolorama Pickers Lounge, coming at you live again from beautiful Bakersfield, California. Today is April 19th, 2020, and I'm coming at you with a big show. A lot of things have changed in the world of e-commerce over the last 3 weeks since I was last here. I apologize for being gone so long, but I'm back with everything that you need to know. We're going to be talking about a continuation regarding the price gouging policies on eBay and the saga that unfolded since I released a video on the topic. We're also going to be covering some very important practical training tonight. If you haven't audited your store in the last few years, you're going to want to know what that is and how you can do it and how it can boost your sales moving forward. And lastly, we're going to cover all of the most important news that you need to know over the week of e-commerce, all the things that have happened, including some big news. eBay has a brand new CEO. You may have seen some other people talking about, well, we're going to provide you a little bit more in-depth details as far as who he is, what he's done, what he's known for, and what I think about him already as the new CEO for eBay, even though I haven't seen him do a thing yet. I'm going to give you my thoughts on him, and I'm not going to try and sully the waters or anything, but I'm kind of on the fence. We'll just start with that right now. Now, if you guys didn't know, I was actually on YouTube twice over the last 3 weeks. I did a live stream with a good buddy, Shane Myers, aka Rise and Grind Picker on YouTube. We put the link inside of our Facebook page, facebook.com/groups/Bolorama. You go check it out. The link's there, and you can see a 2-hour discussion that I had with Shane. We covered everything that was really relevant at the time. We talked a little bit about price gouging. We talked about Amazon restocks, Amazon pulling back on inventory. We talked a bit about coronavirus and the implication for resellers domestically as well as globally. So if you want to see an interesting discussion, you got 2 hours to kill while you're listening, I recommend you check that out. And I also did a standalone video. It was about a 12-minute release on the topic of price gouging. Now, we are going to be talking about that video today. We're going to give you a little bit of extra context. But if you missed that discussion, if you missed that 12-minute video, I know we're live right now. I actually recommend you go check that video out real quick. It was the last one that we did. If you're watching this later, if you're watching this on the pre-record, I definitely recommend you stop, pause this video, go check that one out, and then come back and watch the rest of this, because we are going to be covering some of that stuff moving forward. Now, I've been gone for 3 weeks, and I've been getting these questions nonstop, like, where are you? When you coming back? Is the show coming back? And I'll be honest with you, the show's here. I love doing the show. Not a whole lot has been happening up until this last week as far as e-commerce, like big relevant news, things that impact you. And without going out and doing any sourcing, I don't really have great pickups to give you. I don't really have great stories to give you in the world of reselling. Most of my focus over the last, I want to say, like 35 days was the last time that I went out anywhere and ate food or bought traditional retail items. Other than groceries, I go out for groceries every 2 weeks. But I've been staying here and I've been focusing on playing catch up, and we're talking big time catch up. I'm 100% listed on all of my eBay listings. I'm 100% scanned in on all of my Amazon items, 100% caught up on, reconstructing the garage, other rooms in my house. I have dedicated bays for yard sale, dedicated bays for conventions. And then this week I'm going to be starting on my advertisements, my domestic ads, to be able to get sellers to be able to contact me and start sending me in stuff that I can start selling on eBay. And if that sounds a little bit far-fetched, that somebody could be doing that, you definitely want to stick around for the clinic that we're going to be doing. I think we're probably about 2 weeks out from being able to do that course for everyone, but it's going to be really, really interesting. I even had somebody reach out to me today after I'd left a comment on one of their posts, and I had advised them. I said, hey, it might be a good idea to get yourself a mentor. And they said, well, I don't need a mentor. And I said, well, if you're asking questions like this, what should I call my company's name? Then you probably need a mentor. And I always tell people this: when you're in the world of reselling, or any type of business for that matter, if you yourself are one of the primary responsible drivers of seeing a brand success, whether it be your eBay or Amazon store or a whole new company that you're starting, if you have questions you don't know the answers to, reach out to experts. If you haven't seen our new website yet, bolorama.com, Bolorama.com, we have a whole host of services available on there. We are looking for some volunteers who would like to help create some free practical training aids, and we'll give you credit and everything too, but we're looking to expand the scope of what we do. But if you're in need of some assistance with your business moving forward, especially during this downtime and you want to talk about ways that you can optimize and improve your business, don't be afraid to reach out to me. We definitely want to help you out with that. With that being said, though, we want to give a thank you to our patrons who do help keep the lights on. We haven't updated this in a couple of weeks, but a big thank you to everyone. Extra special thank you to those lovely people up there in the box, especially if you're out there watching right now. It does mean a lot to me. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get ourselves torn into... Is my slideshow going to work today? You know, some days it just does not want to work. Now, it says your 30-minute news recap. I'm going to be honest with you. This might take a little bit longer than 30 minutes. We leave it on screen. That way, people who are dropping in a little bit late know where we're at in the show. I had somebody message me and say, why don't you take it off the screen? I said, I can't. You know, if you come in 20 minutes late, you're going to want to know what's going on. So those of you who have not heard or you've been living under a rock, I talked about this 3 weeks ago about how eBay had extended some of the return windows on the platform. Now, you're going to hear this reoccurring theme throughout the entire show. I'm going to be saying a lot of things about eBay I don't like. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to talk to you about how to continue to do, how you can continue to do business on eBay. And it's going to sound very contradictory. I want to be very clear, okay? I am in strong opposition to a lot of the things that are happening on eBay, but my flippin' hands are tied as far as where I can take a lot of my inventory to. And we're going to be giving you some more context as to why that is later. But every time I have a stack of negative things to say about eBay, I get messages right after the show that say, Jay, is this it? Is this the end of eBay? Is eBay going to be tanking? You know, there's not enough information to tell as of right now, but we have to deal with what we have. One of the biggest changes that's happening right now is as eBay laid it out, a temporary returns and eBay money back guarantee policy change. Now, why are these changes so frustrating to me? Because when I work as an eBay seller and I'm doing my job, whether it's going out and buying inventory, talking with wholesalers, talking with brand owners, taking my photos, listing my items, filling in my descriptions, whatever it might be, when I do my work at that time, it is under a very specific set of rules and guidance from eBay. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. This is what we'd like it if you did do. Now, when some of the parameters start changing, for instance, let's say shipping costs go up, it can affect the way that you do business. Now, when eBay comes along and they change a policy without any warning, without any approval, without talking to any part of the community, and they make drastic changes to the way that you do your business, and you pretty much have to take it. That's what's happening. You don't have a choice to contest these changes. You don't have a choice to, I guess, rise up as a community, which it's unfortunate that enough of us can't get together to make our voices be heard. Hopefully after today we can start changing that. But eBay has made it now so that if you're a buyer, this is a quote, we have increased the number of business days to buyers, we have increased the number of business days buyers have to ship a return back to you to 21 business days, starting with the moment you accept a return request and the buyer receives a return label. Now, whether you have returns on or not, we all understand that there's a certain element of returns with eBay. For eBay to come along and state that we now must extend our return windows 21 days, the first thing I think of is fraud. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand why this is happening. We're amidst the middle of a pandemic. I get that. Okay, I get that. But why do you need 3 extra weeks to review a product? If you're home, you're supposed to be home. Why do you need 3 extra weeks to review a product to determine whether or not you're going to need to be able to, hold on, 21 business. Why do you need an additional 21 days to be able to get to the post office after you've approved the return for the buyer? It doesn't make sense to me. And then on the back end, sellers, this is again, we talk about often buyers get the long end of the stick, we get the rub. Sellers, we have increased the number of business days you have to issue a refund to 5 business days, starting on the date that the shipment tracking confirms the item was delivered back to you. We're given an extra 5 days to handle our action. The sellers are given an extra 21 days to handle theirs. Okay? It just doesn't seem right to me. Now, these changes are going to be affecting all returns that are open after March 25th. Now, obviously, we're here at the 19th now, so this is pretty much backing up to everything that you've worked with previously over the last 3 weeks. One of the other implications that this has is if you're somebody who's running a very tight operation right now, and you're very lean, you don't have much money floating around within your eBay business, the potential of having to wait what could be an additional 21 days before you're able to have funds released, before you're able to get the item into your hands to be able to dispute it at the next level, escalate a return, create an appeal, possibly go as far as doing IC3, that 21 days is a massive amount of time. And if we look at this, if we look at the entirety of the transaction process, if I sell something today and ship it tomorrow, okay, and let's say we have an average 4-day transit time. Now the customer, you know how returns are on eBay, they get 30 days to play with this item and decide whether or not they like it. Now if they open up that claim and the claim bounces forth for about a week and then ultimately you approve the return, they can wait 21 days, mind you, before they can ship it back, and then you got about a 4-day transit time back. Has anyone done the math on that? That is 62 days, okay? 62 days before you're able to resolve out that transaction. I don't know about you, 62 days is far too long. Now, what about if you're somebody, we have a couple of people we know personally who are in the middle of a move, okay? And you sell an item from one address, and now you're in the middle of the move, you don't know which address it's going to go to, and you got a 60-day lead time. That's a little bit absurd. What if you're somebody who's operating a business? You have a traditional brick and mortar that you do your eBay e-com out of, and you may be closing down that business. Okay. I just don't like the fact that the windows are so far out, and it's something that's happening that we have no control over. It affects 100% of everyone's listings on the entire platform. Why don't we get a say in this? And again, don't get me wrong, I understand why they're doing this, but still, we should be in some way included in the process here. Now, guys, if you didn't know this, we still ask for likes on our videos. We just don't make them public anymore. I'm just going to ask real quick. If you got a moment, hit it. If not, no big deal. Now, the other concern that I have with this whole process is we've watched eBay over the last 5, maybe even 7 years, try and move itself into what we consider the retail standard, the Walmart standard, your 30, 60-day return period, your free returns and everything like that. My concern right now is that if they roll this program out and it seems like everything is continuing to work and nobody's really complaining and nobody's making a fuss, you know what's going to end up happening? They're going to say, well, we did the retail standard during the pandemic. Everyone seemed to be fine with the 60-day return window. We didn't notice an uptick in abuse. We didn't notice an uptick in returns. So as you can see, everything is fine. Let's go ahead and do this. Now, we saw them do this with managed payments. We've watched this happen already. We haven't seen any impact to the sellers who moved over to managed payments. Everything is perfectly fine with their accounts. They're still getting the same level of volume. And then we watched it become the standard. So I'm worried that that's going to happen again. And as I said a moment ago, I really do feel like my hands are tied. The phrase that I've heard before, well, if you don't like it, go sell someplace else. I'm sorry, where am I going to sell antique action figures at? I don't want to have 30 specialty sites where I break down each of my individual goods. I mean, there's no denying that eBay has a massive buyer pool. I was watching this documentary the other day by Vice, and it talks about people in South America and these families, kids as young as 4 or 5 years old, and then the adults, obviously in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they're in South America and they're picking strawberries for the American market. Believe it or not, if you've eaten strawberries in America, there's a good chance they were picked by a child at some point in time. And this is just how it is. And these families that are there, their hands are tied. They can't just leave the job because they have so little money coming in. They never have the opportunity to save. They never have the opportunity to get away from the work that they need just to survive. And I feel that there's a lot of people who are trapped within this eBay ecosystem who are never getting enough momentum to actually leave the ecosystem. So in turn, they just stay. And if a better option was there, and I see it throughout all the forums, if there was just a better option, we would take that better option and we would run with it. But unfortunately, there really isn't a better option. So it leaves us at this crossroads. We sit here and we talk in our corners and we complain to each other about the problems and we hope that something actually happens. But the reality is, not much is going to happen, not unless enough people make a kerfuffle. Now, I did hear, thank you to Mr. Exquisite, he cued me in, that another channel, don't remember the name, another channel did have somebody from an eBay team on air and talking about concerns. I didn't check it out, but I really do hope that we do see more of a presence from eBay, getting hands-on, and we're talking more than they're just eBay for Business channel. Excuse me, guys. We're talking more than just their eBay for Business channel. We're looking for actual engagement with the influencer community so that way we can get some of this new information out sooner, and possibly, if they're willing to play ball and talk with us about these things in advance, maybe we can put a little bit of a positive spin on it and better understand the perspective that they're coming from. Now, with that, moving forward, eBay also was in the news because of Starboard Investments and eBay's new CEO. Those of you who aren't familiar, we talked about, oh God, what was the name of the company? Oh, it's the green one. Elliott Management. Elliott Management, the vulture fund investing firm who had taken a large stake out of eBay off the open market. A smaller player came to the market, Starboard, and Starboard had put out their own letter too, and frankly, their letter was very, very weak, and they weren't coming to the table with very much money. But now that we have a new CEO in place, and they were hands-on with that as they have a seat on the board of directors, they put out a statement. Peter Feld, managing member of Starboard, said, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Starboard's only 3 or 4 people. It's a very small company, very lean. So we appreciate the constructive relationship we have with eBay's board of directors and management team. We are pleased with the company's actions taken in connection with its strategic portfolio review, including the completed sale of StubHub and the recent confirmation that eBay has been exploring potential value, creating alternatives for classifieds with multiple parties. And we are excited about hiring of the accomplished CEO, Jamie Iannone. We commend the board on these actions, which are aligned with our recommendations and our shared goal of long-term stockholder value creation. We are excited to build a relationship with Jamie, and we look forward to sharing our views with him on the opportunities we see to drive improvements in the marketplace business. Great. I'm happy to see that Starboard's happy. I didn't like seeing the friction in the news. I didn't like seeing them throw letters back and forth. It just made both companies look bad. And we've talked about this before, okay? If people of a community cannot work together and they're just slinging junk back and forth at each other, then yeah, it makes it looks bad for everyone. That's basically what it is. Mr. Exquisite's telling me it's 6 people in Starboard. Thank you for that. Now, we are going to talk about the new CEO. Okay. Now, if you didn't catch that a moment ago, okay, did you hear what his name is? The new CEO, Jamie Iannone. Okay, Iannone. And I'll tell you why we're pronouncing it. Here, let me explain it this way.
eBay hires a new CEO. Let's check it out. Jamie, and his last name, is it Iannone or Iannone? Who knows?
So yesterday, eBay announced that they have this new CEO, Jamie Iannone, I believe you say his name. This is him right here.
eBay named a new CEO, former Walmart executive Jamie Iannone. You could see him here. He is scheduled to start on April 27th. His name is Jamie, and I think it's about time because they've been working.
Iannone.
Yeah. So apparently this is a very difficult name to pronounce. Iannone, Jamie Iannone. Now moving on though, he attended both Princeton and Stanford and got a couple of degrees, unique ones in each one. And he got unanimous support from the board of directors to come on board as eBay's new CEO. He will be starting on April 27th. Okay. And it is not his first time with eBay. He was actually here previously from 2001 to 2009 as the vice president of eBay. Now, he will also be taking a role on the board of directors in the same way that Devin Wenig did as well. So not only is he going to be the acting CEO, he's going to be on the board of directors, and he's going to be an influential part of the vote and major decisions and changes that do happen on the platform as well. Now, beyond that, he has 20 years of experience leading digital pure play and omni-channel platforms for major brands. We're talking Sam's Club and Walmart. Now, omni-channel refers to different methods of shopping for consumers. We're talking online, physical stores, by phone. We're talking different means that consumers can shop. And he worked with this for quite a while. And when we refer to pure play, we're talking about brands that work in a very specific targeted market, and their goal is to to capture as much of that specific market as possible. So think of brands like Dole, they work specifically in fruits, or Nike, it's the clothing market, and even brands like LensCrafter. They have a very, very clear direction that they're working in. Now, this person here, Jamie Iannone, is a former CEO with Sam's Club. He was there, I think, something like 20 years. And while he was there, he focused in on memberships, marketing, technology, and operations. And these were some of the biggest things that he was known for and accredited for with his time there. And one of the largest operations that he had his hand in, that he was known for, was called Store Number 8, which is actually a Walmart. It's essentially a tech play. They referred to it as their incubation hub for forward-facing brands. Now, a forward-facing brand is a brand that actually touches the consumer. They actually reach out and work directly with the consumer, opposed to a back-facing brand, which would be, maybe a brand that other brands work with. Okay, they're on the back end, brand support brand. So this is an incubation hub. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because for me to be able to look at this new CEO and be able to give you any type of guidance on him, whether I think he's a great guy or not, I need to know what he's accomplished. I think that's important. And this being one of his biggest claim to fame, I did a little bit more digging. Okay, Store Number 8 is pretty much 4 different brands. There's a brand called In-Home, IRL, Jet Black, and Insperience. Okay, these 4 brands have a little bit of forward-facing to them. Now, the first one, Jet Black, you may have heard of it. You may have even seen commercials for it previously, but essentially it worked as a concierge-style, direct-to-consumer assistance, having an aid where I could pick up my cell phone and I could say, hey, I want some size 9 loafers in such and such brand. And an agent would actually assist you with that order and then ship it out to your address. And this was one of his biggest startups, biggest things that he's gotten going. This company actually closed in February of this year. Now, the reason why is because they were bleeding money, a lot of money. Each person that was signed up for the service was apparently costing them $15,000 a year just to keep them on the service. They were losing that much money per member, and it's most likely a problem with scaling. That's probably what it was. They just didn't get enough people in to really give it the legs that it needed to take off. Now, IRL is an AI tech play, and it's a pretty interesting one too if you want to do some research on it. The IRL store is located in New York, and it's a Walmart that has been fitted with a bunch of AI technology to be able to not only help the consumer, but help the employees to be able to optimize the experience for both ends. That part is successful. Same thing with the Insperience. Insperience is a virtual reality shopping experience. And we've seen eBay make a push for this previously. And I promise you, there's going to be some type of partnership between Insperience and eBay moving forward. It's going to happen. Probably give it 2 years. Okay, we're going to see some type of relationship between the two. It's an impressive looking VR brand. And then the last one is In-House, which is Walmart's I guess you could call it a tech play, but it's more of a social play. What they're doing is they're providing the last 15-foot delivery option for consumers. So rather than just, you have your curbside option where you have your groceries brought to your curb, you have your door front option where they're obviously brought up to your door. And this Insperience option actually has somebody come into your house and load your fridge and your shelves with the items that you purchase. Now, me personally, okay, I'm not okay with that. But I can understand certain people who maybe have such an obscene amount of money that they're not concerned about theft or loss, or they have, maybe all their cameras in place. I don't need somebody coming in my house and loading my groceries up for me. Now, I guess my question with all of this, though, has anything that he has done translate to things that are going to help us? Now, I did hear when I was putting together that little supercut for you guys, I did hear Christopher Lin talk about how this is going to really ramp up and really help the everyday small seller having him within the brand. He understands the small level consumer. I completely disagree with that statement, hands down. I feel that the efforts and work that he has done historically, curbside pickup, membership programs, scan and go, these innovations that he's created for other brands mean absolutely nothing for eBay. eBay will not have a successful membership program. No one will pay for anything that eBay is going to offer on a month-to-month basis. There will be no optimizations for delivery. That's going to happen because of eBay, not domestically anyways. When it comes to launching brands in China, we've talked about Orange Connex. And if you guys haven't seen one, I actually got one the other day. I'm kind of surprised. I got my first Orange Connex branded package. And Orange Connex is a discount shipping option that eBay created. You can see it says Orange Connex right there. Is a shipping option that eBay created for Chinese sellers to be able to get their products over here to America. We're going to be doing another follow-up video on that topic as well. So I don't see our new CEO doing, frankly, much of anything to help people like me and you, because he's taken on the same role that Devin had. What improvements do you remember Devin making for us during his tenure there? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm pleased with how he drove the ship. And I think that he got a lot done for the brand as a whole. But I can't sit back and be like, oh, man, thank God we had Devin. He did this. I got nothing. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that really blows me away with his tenure there. Now, these are just my opinions, obviously. Okay. Now, Thomas Tierney, chairman of eBay's Incorporated board, stated, "The board believes Jamie is the ideal CEO to lead eBay's next chapter of growth and success. We have all been impressed by his strong track record of innovation, execution, operational excellence, and development teams that drive results. Jamie has consistently delivered high growth during rapid periods of industry disruption, consumer change, and technological advancement. He is a world-class leader, and we are excited to welcome him back to eBay." Now, I'm not going to say that what he has done as a CEO of Sam's Club is anything short of amazing. I mean, he's earned his keep there. He's created amazing teams that have gone out of their way and done some really, really big things, because Sam's Club, as he described it, is essentially a startup that was built off the backbone of Walmart. So that's kind of the way you have to look at it. It was a brand new brand, and he was there at the very beginning when Sam's Club was first a thing. So when you think about what went into driving memberships and getting new people to go to Sam's Club, he was integral in that marketing effort to try and get people to come across. Now, I can sit here and say, yes, he may be able to get a lot of buyers to come to the platform, which is always good to have more buyers. But what can we do to ensure that those buyers are not only high quality buyers, okay? Because we've learned historically that when certain ad revenue dollars are spent incorrectly, we listened to Wenig say this before, that you end up getting a low quality customer that has a low average spend, and in turn cost more for client acquisition than what the value that they actually bring to the brand and bring to the sellers. So we want buyers, but we want great buyers. We want long-term buyers that are going to stay for a long time. And what will Iannone do different than Wenig when it comes to getting those results? Now, Jamie himself had a statement when he came on board that was also put out in eBay's press release stating, "I am honored to rejoin eBay as its next chief executive officer. In my previous experience with the company, I developed a deep appreciation for what made eBay so special. eBay's success has always been rooted in its robust C2C platform, or consumer to consumer, i.e. me, the seller, to you, the average person, the buyer. I believe the company has tremendous opportunities to capitalize on this foundation, innovate for the future, and grow its ecosystem. I look forward to working with our global teams to enhance buyer experience and provide more capabilities that will help small business sustain and grow. I will focus on continuing to evolve the company's strategy while delivering on eBay's commitment to maximize long-term shareholder value." Lovely. It's a very nice, clean, whitewashed statement, and I'm happy to hear it. So I'm coming into this with a lot of optimism. He seems like a very sharp guy. He seems a little less of that, I don't know how you really describe it, but Wenig always kind of seemed like he wanted to be 15 years younger and be that cool tech Silicon Valley kind of personality. When I saw him walk on stage at eBay opening, he was wearing these tight jeans and a t-shirt, and he thought he was the big swinging of the building. It really kind of, I don't know, it didn't sit right with me. Now, when I watched Iannone's presentation at the Web Summit, I believe it was 2017 Web Summit, he was on stage and he was talking about how the retail market is changing. He went on stage wearing a suit, wearing a nice button collared shirt underneath, good looking slacks. He really fit the role. Now I understand, sure, when you're speaking to your audience and such, but I like to see that polished, finished look out of a CEO of a company that I work for. It's important to me. Do I wear this type of clothing? Oh, I'm missing a button. Why did nobody tell me? Do I wear this type of clothing every day? God, no. Heavens, no. I wear t-shirts and basketball shorts. I'm wearing basketball shorts right now. But my forward-facing image to you is you need to see professionalism because it's important. I represent a brand and it's important that you see that. So I do appreciate that Jamie Iannone is going to be bringing a certain level of professionalism to the table that has unfortunately been missing from that seat for several years now. Moving forward, though, we're going to talk a little bit about this whole price gouging fiasco. And again, if you haven't done so, I strongly recommend you go back and watch that video. I'm going to take a coffee break really quick, guys. Talk to yourself for a moment if you don't mind. Oh, man. I don't know if you've ever stared directly into a camera lens and spoke for 30 minutes straight. It is taxing. Mr. Exquisite says he ran for the hills to join Walmart when his Barnes & Noble's digital division was failing and bleeding money. That worries me. Well, he was behind the Kindle, so he did have a little bit of foresight there. So I'm gonna give him a little bit of the nod there. I haven't dug deep into his tenure with Barnes & Noble because I think it was a little while ago. So yeah. And while I'm catching my breath really quick, if you haven't heard, we have this really cool thing that we do with Patreon. If you'd like to get partnered up and talk with me and talk with other resellers throughout the day, get exclusive training content, have a ton of fun. Let me see if I can get that link up for you. Visit our Patreon. Okay, it's very, very cheap and helps keep our show on air. It would mean a lot to me if you checked it out. It's a great little operation. Moving forward, guys, as I said, when it comes to this price gouging fiasco, if you didn't see the video, please go watch that. Just to give you a quick TLDR, I received the letter regarding price gouging, and then I noticed some changes on my account. I noticed that I was having difficulty listing certain things. And after I pressed harder and pressed harder and pressed harder, I was able to get some information from the concierge team. And I learned about certain things. I learned that certain keywords I was not allowed to use in my listings, even existing listings. So I have a stuffed animal on eBay. It's an Aeropostale bear, and he has an Avengers mask on. Just a little pull down over his eyes. Super cute. Super cute. I'll sell it to you for half price if you want it. That item I am not able to revise because I cannot do anything with the word mask in my title. Okay, and I actually had to remove the word mask when I went to go edit the item to be able to make the changes that I wanted to make. It's very, very unfortunate. Well, after this whole fiasco happened, I ended up pressing just a little bit harder. I called back again, and I really wanted answers this time because I had gone to eBay for business, and I said, hey, what the heck's going on with my account? Okay, I'm a seller. I deserve, damn right, demand to know what changes you made to my account as far as why I can't generate revenue by using certain words. All because I listed something 2 months ago, and then you changed policy, okay? I appreciate you sending me an email this time. You changed policy and then retroactively hurt my account because I didn't delist the items the day that you changed the policy. I don't feel that's fair. Okay. Well, when I called back, I said, hey, I want a list of these keywords. I want to know what I can and can't do. But I did learn something really interesting. I actually had somebody admit and give me the correct words. They call it a keyword block and a category block. Now, my suspicions were that there was categories that I wasn't able to list into. And I had been told, no, that's not a thing. It's got to be something wrong with the title. We're not doing any category restrictions. But no, I learned from an advanced support agent that category blocks are a thing. Your account can have a block against certain categories. And I said, hey, I would like to know which categories it is that I'm not allowed to sell in. They couldn't tell me. Now, here's the thing. This might sound wild. I don't disagree with them for not telling me. I actually agree with them. They shouldn't tell me. And they shouldn't tell me all the keywords either. Because when you give me all of that information, I know what to do to circumvent the rules. I shouldn't have that power. Okay? No seller should have that power. And that's why they can't tell us. If they tell us everything that we want to know, then the bad guys can do whatever the heck they want. And it's really damaging for the platform as a whole. So I respect that and I understand that. And I can only push so hard. And I said, can you give me at least a little more color as far as what's going on? And they said, well, You have some of your keywords: mask, reusable, NIOSH, 3M, respirator, doctor. You have a lot of keywords that you're going to be having issues with. Surgical, sanitizer, lots of keywords. He said there's also some categories. I'm like, can you share with me any information regarding the categories? He said, well, I can't tell you everything, but the key category that you need to know about is business and industrial. I said, oh, okay. Makes a little bit of sense. Okay. And I said, well, can you at least give me a little more color as to why these policies are the way they are? And they said, well, a lot of it has to do with us trying to keep up with state law. Now, state law and governmental law are two separate things, but eBay really wants to make sure that their butt's covered on this one and that all of America, they're not violating any of the individual state laws regarding pricing and price gouging. I get that. And now the $1 million question: what is price gouging in eBay's eyes? I got an answer and I was blown away. Somebody actually gave me a figure. Price gouging occurs after 10% of MSRP on most items. So if you have a $5 pack of gloves and you list it for more than $5.50, that can constitute as price gouging. Okay. Now, we are talking about items that are considered essential here. So whatever is deemed essential at the time. Remember, initially it was face mask and it was wipes and it was sanitizer. And now that's been expanded to include nappies, toilet paper, tampons, and a whole list of other essential items. And what is deemed essential can vary over time. So eBay, without notice, can update this list right now. It could be being updated right now, and we need to comply. Now, I feel really bad for the people who have had this price gouging policy struck against them, who weren't listing any of these essential items, but they had been wrongfully flagged because these changes had been put on their account. Video games, for instance. Thank you. And when these things happen, you're going to be dealing with these restrictions on your account until whenever it is officially determined the pandemic is over. Okay. Even with me. Okay. Now, I asked, and I wasn't able to get clear guidance on this, is this affecting other countries as well? Because what I have noticed is a disproportionate amount of sellers from China still able to list these items here to America. Now, I understand some of the prices aren't wild, but they're wild compared to where they were historically. Used to be able to buy, a pack of 100 face masks from China for like $12, $14. Okay. They're selling them for $30 now. Now, it's over a 50% increase on this item, but it's not considered price gouging. I don't get why. Obviously, we could sit here and say, yeah, they're playing buddy-buddy with China. But there's a little bit more to it than that. I did also learn that certain sellers have been pre-approved for this to be able to continue to sell the items. So it's not a matter of you can't, sell, or you can't sell the item. I can't sell the item. Certain people can sell the item, but you have to get approved to actually be able to sell it. And I also learned that eBay has gone out of their way to reach out to buyers who have historically sold these items in the past to ask them to come back and sell their items on the platform. So they are making conscious efforts to get the items because, well, shit, they want to get paid. Okay, if somebody's been selling tens of thousands of these for the last few years, why turn them away? Why not get paid still? I asked too. I said, when it comes to things like running auctions, if I start a bid for $1 and it runs up to $150 and then you guys pull the listing down, which happened to me 3 times on 3 separate items, I said, what is the motivation for that? I'm clearly not price gouging. I ran an auction. I can't help the fact that the item got up to $150. And he says the main purpose behind this, and I was again shocked that this was even said on a recorded line, the main purpose behind this was to protect eBay's image. That's what I was told by a concierge advanced support member, to protect the outward image of eBay, because nobody wants to go onto a website and see that the items are $150 or $200 for something that they want to buy. And they don't want to be branded as being the type of website where people go and then they see these ludicrous prices. I told him, we had a very long talk about this. I said eBay had a remarkable opportunity to retell the story of how this whole thing was going to play out. In the beginning, we watched as sanitizer flooded the market. 20,000, 24,000, 30,000 listings at one point for hand sanitizer. And what happened in the beginning? Prices started going up, selling. Prices got really high. And then it became so valuable, everyone went out and got some. And we started seeing the market downturn, and then it hit this swoop, and then the market corrected itself. And it found a nice price that was probably about 30% over retail, maybe 20% over retail in some situations. Just enough money to make it worth it for a lot of people in the market. Whew, we were good. We were great. Okay. And that's when eBay pulled it off. Now, when eBay did this action, I'll be honest with you, I think that they're largely responsible for a lot of the scare that happened. Okay, because it went from, I can just go online and get this stuff. Because why? eBay sellers like me and you were working hard to make sure that the available supply of goods that people actually wanted to buy was there. Think about how this story could have been told. I can't find it on Amazon. I can't find it in my local grocery store. But thank God eBay was there for me. Thank God the seller community came together. You know how we got this really, really bad rap as being resellers over the last 3-4 months? The story could have been written completely differently. Thank God there was resellers there, and there was people who made this product available for me to buy because there's none in my town. Now, I obviously see the obverse of that. There's none in your town because all the resellers scooped them all up. Not really, okay? A lot of resellers aren't going out there, and they're not the ones hoarding supplies in their house. I don't know if you've seen the people with 5,000 rolls of toilet paper or 100 bottles of sanitizer who are doing their doomsday prep, okay, for no good reason. Okay, that's the type of product that could have gotten out there. But I think that any reseller who goes out and they're selling this product on the secondary market, what they're doing is they're saying, I feel so confident that things aren't going to get this bad. I'm going to sell the things that might be important to save my life someday to you. Okay, I'm going to sell it to you. I'm taking the risk that I'm going to be left with nothing in exchange for the money today. Now, you don't have to buy it. Okay, and this is what I told the guy. I never once pointed a gun through my computer monitor and said, you got to buy the stuff that I'm selling. Not at all. Okay, and I think that the free market should be allowed to decide for itself. So I pushed back and I said, hey, what can we do? What can we do to fix my account? Because I don't like these restrictions on there. I'm a hardworking seller. I understand the policy and the way that's outlined. And they said, well, okay, we'll put an appeal in for you and we'll call you back. And I was expecting a call back the next day. I got a call back that night, about 4 p.m. And he says, okay, well, just wanted to let you know, we put in that appeal and the appeal was denied. I'm like, excuse me? Yeah, the appeal was denied. So we're not going to be able to lift those restrictions on your account at this time. Lovely. And so I'm going to be in the same boat that a lot of you are in until this pandemic's over. And hopefully sooner rather than later. I don't know if you guys are following the news, but I'm due. Got this feeling that it should be ending here soon. My prediction is that I'll be able to walk out my front door in 11 days and hopefully be able to go do something that is even mildly entertaining. I don't know if you know this. I haven't eaten at a restaurant in 35 days. That includes fast food, takeout, sit down, nothing. All my food been made here. It's wild, absolutely wild how much money you can save if you don't eat out. But yeah, so that's up. That's what's up with all of that. Your little update on those things. If you have any questions at any point during the show, feel free to ask them. If you'd like to help support this show and you don't want to do the whole Patreon thing, I understand it's not for everyone. Feel free to hit that super chat button. We get about 60% of whatever you send in. If you want to send in a donation, it's jaysgameshack@yahoo.com and we'll get it and we'll say thank you on air to you for that. Now, guys, transitioning, I reached out to a company the other day because, as you know, I work with vinyl products. If you haven't seen the products back here on this shelf, some of these toys, they range as low as $5, $6. Some of them get up into the hundreds, okay? So I know some people like collecting pops. I like collecting things with a little bit more excitement behind them. You know, stuff that's actual artistic and unique and kind of fun in nature. And I put up a post. I tell people, hey, I'm doing bulk buying. I'm looking for stuff. And a brand actually reached out to me and I said, hey, I'd love to have a piece of what you got. I'll show it on air. I'll add it to the shelf if I think it's interesting. And do you want to send something out? And he said, sure, I'd love to send something out. And anytime I can get a free art figure, I will. He asked that I open it on air. And I said, yeah, sure, not a problem. Now, While I'm here, though, I don't know if you've ever seen the Lumi channel, Lumi. It's a really cute girl. She makes, this really cute young woman makes these great videos on actual packaging and the branding and the effort that goes behind creating a successful impression to the consumer when they receive their box. And this box is a beautiful box. I really, really love the fact that the information is printed directly on the box. Custom boxes are such a nice touch for brands. This is a high quality corrugate box. It's made by Uline. A lot of people call these cardboard, but this is actually, like, whenever you see these waves, it's actually corrugate, and there's different grades and different types of corrugate. This is a quality corrugate. This one will hold 65 pounds of crush capacity. That's really good for what you're working with, okay? And it's right on spec too. If you're shipping USPS priority, you're going to want about a 70-pound crush capacity for your boxes. Now, this gentleman, his company, this anonymous rat, they actually do front to back production, development, and all of that for vinyl figures. So if you've ever thought about making something and you're looking for a company to work with, consider contacting them. Now, like I said, I don't do a ton of research on certain brands. So I always say, do your own research. If you like what you see here, then feel free to check them out. But I just want to give them a little thank you. This is one of the cards that came with it. And they, like I said, they do posters, vinyls, resins, all that good stuff. And I'm kind of excited to see what this looks like. I really do appreciate little throw-ins like this. I think this is a sticker right here. Really nice, high quality. We call this a bop, this type of material. It's printed onto a white bop. I can tell just by the coating on it that it has a UV coating to protect it from fading. This is a really nice, high quality sticker. It's probably about a 40 to 60 cent sticker for each one of these things. Very, very nice. And then he even did a nice job of packing this item up as well. Rhiannon asks, and I'll get to your question too, Mike. Thank you for asking. Rhiannon asks, are those gouging restrictions only on items eBay considers essential in the moment, or is that always the case for that policy? So the thing is, what is considered essential today might not necessarily be what's essential tomorrow. We will see more items get added to that list, and potentially we may see some items get lifted from that list. But pretty much any item that can be abused for price, Lay's chips, Doritos chips. There's a handful of different ones that are going for $13, $15, $20 a bag right now. Any item that can be abused on price that eBay can deem as essential will get added to that list. So that's what makes it a little bit tricky. I know there's a lot of bolo hunters out there right now going after the easy bolos during this quarantine time. And I don't blame you. I don't knock you. Go make your money. I get it. I 100% get it. Go make it. But just be careful. When these policies change, I recommend that you try and get those items down, maybe shuffle them across to a Mercari or an Amazon if you can. I wouldn't suggest you violate policy, and if you've already been hit with a price gouging policy once, be extra careful. Guys, I switched over to black coffee this week. No creamer. Really like it. I definitely think that if you've never done it before, give it a couple of cups. It's really pleasant once you get used to it. So we're going to pull this out. Okay. This is a really nice box as well. Now you can see this box is actually cardboard. Okay, you see how there's no flutes there on the side? So there's actually a cardboard box, which is different than the corrugate box. Actually, you know what? This might be an ultra fine corrugate. So, it's Anonymous Rat, the stinging duck. I actually haven't seen what this figure looks like. I appreciate the use of a hologram for security, and it appears that each one of these is numbered in limited edition as well. And this is designed by Ratty number 1, which is his, or number 1 Ratty, which is his partner in crime, is what he told me. Cool looking box. What an interesting looking figure. Yeah, this is going to go on the shelf. It's just an odd one. Gosh. Look at this guy. Oh, such an odd little figure. And check this out here on the back. So I'm all about interesting art pieces. Oh, it's supposed to be a stingray too. Now it does have some branding here on the bottom. A little bit. It's actually hollow. I was expecting a solid vinyl, but I've never had one of this thickness before, so that might be normal. Really, really cool piece. We'll find a place for him back here. We'll just put him there for now. It looks good on camera. So thank you to you for sending that out, buddy. I do appreciate that. We'll get your information someplace on this video after it gets uploaded. Now, without further ado, we're going to talk about store audits. Now, this is a very important topic, and this is a lengthy topic. Okay, and this is what we're going to wrap up our show with today, is talking about this. If you do not have a pen and paper on hand, I recommend you get one. Okay, because we're going to be covering a lot of information right now. This is probably the most valuable information you're going to hear during this entire quarter of me doing this show. Okay, this is the type of information that I generally charge for. Today we're going to be talking about auditing your store and what you need to do. I will be coming out with a dedicated full-fledged video on this sometime in the future. They take a long time to make. So in the future I will be getting to it. So what are we doing today? We're talking about store audits and repairing your listings. It's important to understand that as the climate on eBay changes, your expectations as a seller are going to change as well. We had first noticed this about 5 years ago, maybe even 8 years ago now at this point, with the implementation of the mandates for UPCs on new and open box items on the platform. This was the first time we've seen product identifiers actually pinned to a mandate, and we understood and were taught the importance of this and how it affects your visibility not only within eBay, but also within Google as well. These changes happened so long ago, and including recent changes, the 2017, 2018, and even 2019 seller update introduced more mandates as well as more fields or item specifics that could be added. When we talk about item specifics, we're talking about things like color, age of production, location of production. We're talking about bundled items. We're talking about brand. We're talking about, item color. We're talking about a whole plethora of different identifiers with the goal of helping the consumer find the specific item that they are looking to buy. Okay. So if you have items that you haven't touched, you haven't looked at the listing online in more than a year, your listings need to be audited. And an audit has 5 main objectives and 1 goal. Okay. Number 1 purpose of an audit is to make sure that all the items that you believe are actually listed on your eBay store are actually listed. Okay, and I know this sounds dumb. I started my audit about a week ago. I've gone through about 300, maybe 350 items. I have found 6 items on my shelf already, one of which was worth over $100 that was not listed on eBay. Now, why does this happen? Okay, well, maybe your workflow is and somehow creating holes where items are slipping through. Maybe you photographed it. Maybe you forgot to do that last step. Maybe you press send. Maybe you press submit. Lost internet connection, glitch in the app, item didn't list. It's going to happen. Or you had an item that got delisted and you forgot to remove it from your shelf. Or you had an item get returned and it affected your inventory count. And because of that, you may have had 1 or 2 units left over after the end of a sale on quantity goods. All of these factors can lead to that. The second part is, are all of the items that I have listed still within my inventory? So if I think I have 10 units of something, do I actually have 10 units? If I think I have 1 of something, do I still actually have that 1 unit? How can items go missing? Again, return errors. You have something returned back to you, or maybe you're working with a specific group of products. You place one on the wrong shelf, and one shelf is for Mercari, one's for eBay, or one went to a yard sale on accident, or you got an item back and you didn't realize that auto relisted. We want to check it in both directions. Is everything we think online actually online? Is everything that we actually think is on our inventory shelf actually listed? It has to go both ways. Thank you so much, Dana. I appreciate that. The third part of it, okay, do all of my items have as much info as I can provide for them? Now, I know this seems stupid. I know you don't want to do this. I understand it. No one wants to stop and do this. Okay? And I get that. It's annoying. It is annoying to stop everything that you're doing and stand inside your inventory space and check each and every listing. It has to be done. Okay? And now is the time to do it. Because why don't we normally do it throughout the year? Because why am I going to stop and find $1,000 worth of mistakes and errors if I can just go out and buy another $1,000 worth of products? Okay? I get that. But now that we can't go out and continue sourcing in that way, this is the prime time to get caught up. Okay? Part 4. goal number 4 or objective number 4, do all of my items, or excuse me, do any of my items need to be removed today due to performance and or pricing? And what does that mean? Do you have an item that has virtually no views for the amount of days that's been on the site? And that any type of realistic idea of the item selling is pretty much gone at this point. You maybe even look at TerraPeak and you can see no one's bought from this category in a year or 2 years or whatever it might be. Okay. Or has the cost of doing business a culmination of both your eBay fees, your packing supplies, your shipping cost? Have all of these things gone up to a point where it is no longer financially successful to actually sell this item on the site? Okay, those are all good reasons to pull that item off the website. And lastly, do any of my items require better photos than when they were listed originally? Okay, if your items need better photos, this is the time to find them. I'm not ashamed to say that I have items from 4 years ago that have really bad photos. Unacceptable photos by my standards. Okay. If I saw those and if I was auditing somebody else's store and I saw those, I would chew them out for them. I would say, these aren't good photos. Okay. These need to be fixed. Yes, Rhiannon, this is a very, very great time to do this. Now, the main objective, I gave you 5 objectives. Okay. The main goal, the whole reason we do this, the whole reason we're putting in all this time, what could be a whole week of your life, to sell more stuff. That's really it. I promise you, you put in the work, you're going to sell more items. You have to forgive me, guys. The air is so incredibly dry right now. I'm going to turn the air up really quick. I am starting to sweat. It is hot. Give me one hot moment. So I've come to learn that when my throat gets too dry, it's just going to stay that way. So we may cut this training short, but I'm going to try my best to keep it together for a little bit longer. I may have to skim some stuff. I put this in green here, which means I'm supposed to read every bit of it. An audit done correctly only needs to be done once on all inventory. Then only new items added can be done once a year. Preferably, you will always list your items right the first time, but changes to eBay's listing guidance can make additional audits necessary. It's an important thing to understand. So we're going to cover right now, real quick, the different aspects that you should be looking at when revising your listing. Now, when you click revise and it pulls up your item hoopla, there's a lot of fields there. Okay. And I can't stress this enough. Grab a damn pen and paper. This is so important. I literally charge $100 an hour to talk to people about this stuff. It's so important that you understand these things. Title, okay? I see a lot of really bad titles. I myself found typos. I found consistencies and the gapping on titles. I found inconsistencies on capitalizations on the titles. I found titles that were really old that contained words like rare, vintage, new old, stock. I found titles that had symbols in them. All of these things should be removed. There is no reason to add the word new to a title if the item specific says new. You are not going to encourage the sale along. You are going to hurt your ranking within Google. Google Shopping is going to be one of your most valuable things. Google Shopping does not like titles that have the word new in them. Okay? They want to see an item specific that has the word new inside of it. Excuse me so much, guys. I don't know what happened. I haven't talked like this in like 3 weeks, so I'm really not used to the amount of time talking. Okay. So when we talk about these titles, we also want to talk about improving the title as well. We can do this by changing the order of some of the words in there to fall in line with what the Google industry standard is. Now, that standard changes by category. Sometimes it's going to be brand first. Sometimes it's going to be item first. Sometimes it's going to be color or specific first. You want to consider adjusting your listings in all aspects when possible. Every field I talk about, you should be willing to make an adjustment in. I do want to be very clear about something. I saw this comment the other day within our Facebook group. Really, really chaffs my ass every time I see it too. Somebody had asked, and they said, why not just revise or end and relist all your listings? And I've covered this in video format so many times. My reseller myths video. If you do that, you will destroy your store. You will lose all of your watchers on all of your items. And when Google goes back and they look at your items, guess what they're going to do? They're going to say, okay, this is where this item was before within our search. Okay, here's the same thing. We know where this item goes already. We've indexed it before. We're not going to index it again. If you think by ending an item and relisting it, you're somehow magically going to jam yourself to the top of search, that's a little bit of BS, okay? It's not going to happen that way. Sure, can you win the little, the little roulette spin 5 minutes after it goes up that maybe you might be at the top for 5 minutes? Sure. Why not? I'll go ahead and give you the nod on that one. It's not going to stay there, though, okay? And frankly, if that worked and that's what made all of your items sell, we wouldn't be here today. Okay, if you had no items and that's what did it, it would be all over the community boards. All you have to do is just end them and relist them and all your items are going to be gone. It doesn't work that way, guys. Does not work that way. But doing these changes will force your listing to re-index. We're talking about changing title, description, photo, even pricing. When you make major changes to your listings, okay, the listing must be re-indexed again. And we're going to be talking about what forces that re-indexing and how you can make that happen. Okay? So, clean up your titles. You want to make sure you check to see if you have a subtitle on. Sometimes you can accidentally put a space in that field or a period in that field, and you may be getting charged fees that you are unaware of. Those subtitle fees add up. Or you said, maybe I'm going to add a subtitle, and I hope that this item is going to sell very quickly through the motivation of a subtitle, and in turn you've forgotten about it, and you're paying $12 or $24 a year to keep that title up. Those subtle fees or those subtitle fees really add up. Next thing is you want to verify that your item is in the correct category. We're not talking about close, we're talking about perfect fit. Every item has a perfect fit category with the exception of really, really obscure things. But if it was anything that was ever sold in any store at any given time, it has a perfect fit category. You want to make sure you use that perfect fit. Now, while on that, okay, there are a bunch of brand new categories that have rolled out over the last 3 years. What was a perfect fit 3 years ago might not be a perfect fit today. On top of that, there are certain categories that you may have your item in that are a damn good fit, but there might be an advantage to putting into a slightly less perfect category. For example, collectibles, anime, 1970 through current, Hello Kitty. I have a plush inside that category. It hasn't gotten the visibility that I wanted. Why? Because there's like 40,000 Hello Kitty plush online right now. And there's like 35,000 people competing within that category. So what did I do? I said, you know what? I want to get some new eyeballs on it. So I moved it over to toys, stuffed animals. Okay. So I'm getting new eyes on it by changing the category. But I am still within a very, very good, very, very strong category. Obviously, you want perfect fit when it's the best case scenario. And if you're not sure, ask somebody, okay? Check your store settings, okay? And hold on one second. I'm reading through my notes. Give me a moment here. I wrote these yesterday. Okay, here's the next part too. If you are using categories within your store, for instance, you are a variety seller and you have items within clothing, you have items within houseware, you have items within hardware, tools, whatever. Okay. If you're using categories, you want to make sure you verify those categories while you're going through the process. This is a great opportunity to start categorizing your store if you haven't done so yet. Now, not every store should be categorized. I want to be very clear about that. My store would have virtually no benefit from being categorized because my items run across about 150 to 200 different categories for only 600 listings. Now, if you're somebody that only does clothing, shoes, accessories, and those are like your three main categories, you need to categorize your goods, okay? Because when a consumer is on your page and they have the opportunity to say, oh, I bought one belt at such and such price, and you're doing volume discounting, and you say, oh, if you buy 3 belts, you're going to get 20% off today. Guess what? You have a page of nothing but belts. Why not? Sure, maybe I can find 2 more belts that I want to buy. If you're not utilizing those categories, you're throwing money away. But it only makes sense if you're the right type of store that you can actually justify doing that. Next part 2 is make sure if you have the UPC, you add it, even if they're not asking for it. Okay? If you have an item that has a UPC and the field for UPC is not there, you probably have it in the wrong category. You want to make sure you have that perfect fit category, because the perfect fit category will prompt you for the UPC. If that is not there, click Add Field and enter your own UPC. This information also gets indexed. It also gets pushed across to Google. And if you're the only one on all of eBay that has a UPC for an item and somebody's looking for it through Google, guess what? Yours is going to get jammed all the way to the top. Take the time and add the UPC. It takes 12 seconds to do it. Okay? You got 100 items, 1,200 seconds. Who cares? Get them done. It's not that difficult. Now, this is an important one. We're going to talk about photos. And like I said, I'm running out of breath already. My throat's it's all raw. So I'm going to end on this one. And we're going to continue this one next time. Okay? Because I'm not even halfway through. But this is an important one to know. Fix your photos. Crummy photos do not help you, and they make your entire store look bad. If I have somebody scrolling through and looking at my photos, I want them to see a very clean and consistent level of photos. And there are some fundamental mistakes that I made with my photos, especially early on, and even as recently as 2 weeks ago, looking back on some of my photos. I didn't realize just how important cropping my photos was. I thought a really nice, clean photo of the item was important, which it is, okay? But if I take a picture of an action figure, and this action figure looks amazing, it looks great, there, but my action figure only takes up 20% of the photo, right in the middle of the photo, you know what that looks like in the search results? That's like a speck, because we're not talking about the full-size original image that we're taking here. That's crunched down to this, and now my figure is this on that page, okay? I want everyone to start focusing in on cropping your items tight. You don't want them so tight that you're unable to get an idea of scale. Okay, if you have the means to, try and get a ruler, a very tiny one at the bottom, so that way you can have some scale, or have your ruler in your second shot. Your first shot is your most important image. That's the one that gets sent to Google. Okay, that's the one that shows up in search results. It's always image 1. So when you're doing them, you want to crop them in tight. You want them to be shown off, and you can show scale on photo number 2, but you want to make sure it's formatted correctly. Don't have screwy angles, okay? Don't take a picture of this sticker at this angle for your photo. Don't even take it at this angle. Don't even take it at this angle. Your photo should be nice and square, straight on, a clear representation of what you're actually selling. That's what you need. Some of my photos, I was taking pictures of records, okay? And I just had them a little propped up, took a picture, and it created this trapezoid-looking image. That's not what you want, okay? So go through and correct your photos and correct your angles. I even have a bin of items. I think I have about a dozen so far after 350 listings that need completely new photos. They're so bad that they need to be replaced. And the mentality that I had was, oh, I don't care, somebody will buy it eventually. No, that's not true. It's been like 5 years. Nobody's bought it. Okay, they're still here, and they're good items. The mentality that I could just go out and get more items is very short-sighted because it makes my entire store look bad. So not only are we talking about cropping, not only are we talking about taking new ones, make sure you have all your angles covered. Don't just look at the first photo. Is this an accurate representation of this item? Front, back, sides, top, and bottom. Am I seeing everything? Does this item open up? Is there interior shots? Make sure you got your angles covered. One of the best things you can do right now is to create a consistent look for all of your photos. And what I mean by that is make sure that your lighting, your background, your saturation, and your brightness across all of your images is even, okay? Now, I want to be clear. You want your images to be a clear reflection of what you're selling. You don't want to over-enhance your photos. You don't want to go Tinder profile-esque and make that photo look so unbelievably good that it no longer represents the true, actual item that you're selling. But I do recommend increasing the saturation. I recommend increasing the brightness, and I recommend lowering the contrast. I have done this on over 300 of my key images so far. My images look glorious in search. My images pop off the screen compared to my neighbors in search. It means I'm going to sell more. Now, I will go over the rest of these. I just don't have the wind for it today. It's a lot to cover. We had a lot of heavy information this week. Okay. So with this, make these changes, sell more items. Since I've done this, I have sold 2 items that have been on the platform for over, I think, 600 days each, respectively. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, how do you know? How do you know what you did actually did anything? And it wasn't just, just by chance. Well, I've got 600 items online, half of which I fixed, half of which I haven't. Okay. In the last 90 days, I have sold 2 items that have been on the site for longer than 1 year. In that entire period of time, 2 items. Those 2 items were within that half of the listings that I actually revised. Okay. Now, obviously, we're going to need more data points. The longer that I go until I get to the other half of the items, the more information that I can give you. But I do feel very confident that a $40 hand puppet and then a $30 owl heat pad, those 2 items selling, I don't believe they would have sold unless I actually got in there and did the work to make my items look better. There it is for you guys. Guys, I'm just having a hard time keeping up with you tonight. But we have, I have stuff here regarding descriptions, item specifics, pricing, shipping methods, payment methods, GSP, all of these other things. We'll cover them next time I'm on air. Let's talk about, what do we got? Why is my slideshow just not working today? I got to get on that. We're going to cover some small stories and developing news really quick, guys. We have another shareholder call coming up April 29th. Okay. And I'm not sick. I'm just I'm exasperated right now. We have another shareholder call coming up April 29th. Make sure you put your hats on for that one. We're going to see how well eBay has done over Q1. I'm expecting a downturn, but it's hard to say now. I'm sure they're going to be scooting in some of those COVID numbers. You know, the new buyers that have come to the market, and they're really going to be hyping those types of things up, but it's really hard to say. On top of that, eBay is doing a donation match up to $1 million. If you'd like to help out with the relief effort, there's 3 pre-approved charities. I believe one of them is Feeding America, and there's 2 others. The way you can do this is you can set up and choose to donate to up to 100%, but anywhere from 10 to 100% of the money earned from the listing to the charity. Now, here's the great part, which I was actually really surprised about. On average, our eBay fees are 10%. They said that if you donate, if you do at least 10%, okay, we'll take that off your fees. Pretty nice, right? So rather than giving the money to eBay, you can give the money to charity. So if you want to do that, it's not hard to do that. You can edit all of your listings today, and you can give 10% to charity, and it won't hurt you as a seller. You'll still make just as much money. Now, here's the other thing about that. Listings that give money to charity have better visibility on the site. So if you want to talk about something you can do today, then that's something you can do to increase your sales, increase your visibility on the site. I can't tell you. I may do a stream for the call. I may not. It's really hard to say. I feel I can offer more information after the fact than I can really during the actual show. Some of the things, I'll be frank with you, as I'm hearing them, I've got to learn them. And even things that I knew before, sometimes I have to learn each and every call because I will forget that information. I'm not working with year over year and EBITDA and, a lot of these other technical terms, except for when I'm doing the shareholder calls. So with the COVID, have there been more new buyers or more new sellers? Probably a good mixture of the two. But I'll be honest, they really missed out. I mean, why would you set it up so that way people who need stuff, who say, well, nobody else has it, I'm going to turn to eBay. Great. eBay doesn't have it. Okay. That one chance you had to capture a brand new market. Oh, eBay just doesn't got it. Well, okay. Typical eBay. They don't have what I'm looking for. Red River says a lot of new people are going to be trying to sell their stuff on eBay, but they don't have what it takes to finish the race. Use this as an opportunity to scalp some cheap deals. 100%. We're going to be doing a video on that, I think, coming up here soon. The basic premise, bid on everything. Bid on every single thing you see. Like if it's a dollar auction starting with free shipping, you need to bid on it. I'm going to be going after a lot of listings. I might even do a live stream of me going after listings. But yeah, great tip. I echo that thought with you, Dana, and I appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, that's what's going on with this week's show. I guess final thoughts here. Let's wrap this bad boy up and let you get back to work. Guys, it's been really great getting caught up here at the house. I'll say that much. And if you haven't done so, take some time, get yourself caught up, go through all your items, get everything listed online. There's a certain level of calm that comes from knowing that you've got your work done. We don't always get that opportunity to feel that because it's a constant grind. It's grind in, day out. Really appreciate this moment because it's a very unique moment in history right now. And really try and make the most of it and get yourself into a position where you can really set yourself up for long-term success moving forward. Because it's more than just what's going on today. I mean, we really are, in some ways, just barely getting going on this whole process. And I see a lot of people who are slacking off right now, who are not taking things seriously. And this is a golden opportunity to get caught up. And I really, really recommend that if you haven't done so, you do so. On top of that, I'm going to be working on new videos. I have a whole list of them that I want to shoot. My videos take like 40 hours to make. I know that sounds ridiculous. That little video that you saw me roll earlier today, that little supercut took 1 hour and 15 minutes. High quality, highly edited videos. Unlike some of the other stuff that goes out, single camera shot, no microphone, nothing. They take a long time, but we're going to get caught up on all of that. And then when that's done, I'm going to start work on the new course. So anyone who's looking to actually scale and looking to launch their own brand and they want unique training. And I even had somebody say, oh, you're just going to be another one of those people who sells courses. I said, no, because 100% of what I've done has been homegrown. School of Hard Knocks. I watched no training videos. I had no mentor for eBay. I had no resellers that I worked with when I started. You're going to get a very, very unique brand of training that's unlike anything else. Exceptionally detailed. The minutia matters to me more than anyone else. You will get line by line detail on how to build a brand from the ground up beyond what you're doing with eBay. Because don't get me wrong, eBay is great and all, but as you've seen, the rules can change like that. And if you don't position yourself to do something with the money that you're making, you can be really screwed. I see so many people going check to check to check or sale to sale to sale on eBay, never saving money and never trying to start another company. I've launched and closed 2 companies in the last 15 years as an eBay seller. I had Jay's Game Shack, wildly successful, and then we had some issues with that, and Central Valley Coupon, which is a company I really tried hard, it just didn't take off, and that's okay. $20,000 down the drain, but I tried. Make that money and get ready to put it into something, into whatever brand you want to do next. This course won't just be for people who want to be resellers. This course will be for anyone who wants to start a brand and anyone who wants to integrate e-commerce into what they're doing in a successful way. We're going to be talking about how to do nationwide sourcing as well, and how to position yourself to make a ton of money during this crisis. On top of that, everything that I say, everything that I do with this course, God, I'm thirsty. I got this scratch right in my throat. Everything I say and everything I do with this course, 100% money back guaranteed. No BS. We don't screw people here. We got better things to do than take your money and run. It's going to be expensive, though. It's going to be free to all the patrons, I believe. Anyone who isn't a patron by the end, pretty much by the end of this sentence, we're probably going to charge like $300. But I guarantee you, you will make, I don't know, how much do you want to make? $30,000, $40,000 next year? You will make that if you take this course with me. No bullshit. Okay. I know exactly what I'm doing and I can take you to that finish line. And this is the most difficult part of it all. Don't let your skepticism be the reason why you don't take the plunge with somebody who knows what they're doing. I hear it all the time. Okay. Money back guarantee. Take the plunge with me. I will get you to the finish line. If that's what you want, we'll get there. Guys, this has been the Sunday Reseller Roundup, April 19th, 2020. It's been a heck of a show. I've had a lot of fun with you. Apologize for all the coughs. Hope you learned something new today. And if you did, hey, do me a favor, okay? Let somebody else know about this show, okay? Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to the first timers who popped in here today. As always, a huge and wonderful and glorious thank you to the patrons who help keep me on air, because genuinely without you, I wouldn't be here. But I'm here now. And if you didn't catch it, like I said before, go watch that video with Shane. Go watch that video with me. Guys, go be successful. Let's make some damn money already. Let's get back to work. Let's do this. Is this going to work? Do I have music? I might not have music. music. I might have to do a silent outro. What is going on here? Guys, I got no music. I don't know what's going on. It's just staring at me. It's lighting up. Okay, we'll roll the outro. No music. I'm sorry, guys. Have a great night. I'll see you soon.